I, F/22, am slowly coming to terms with being asexual. Did I communicate it right with my boyfriend, M/22, of 6 years? In the past I always thought that every girl pretended to be sexually interested in other people. I had a semi-deep conversation with a friend about this in June when we were at a beach and she spotted someone saying he could get it, or something like that. That made me first realize that other people really do feel that way and I simply don't. I also don't get excited over dick pics, sexual advances etc. It leaves me completely cold. However, I do enjoy the sense of intimacy, making my partner happy and feeling desired. But I don't get any sexual excitement, sexual satisfaction, and honestly feel kinda out of place. After some soul searching, I think I came to terms with the fact that I can have sex as a form of intimacy if my partner wants to and do not feel repulsed by it. But I would be just as happy if I had a relationship where sex is completely out of the picture. I communicated those thoughts with my partner of 6 years, without using the term asexual. I am not yet confident enough to use it. What I told him was that I love him, think he is amazing, and that he as a person has nothing to do with the fact that I don't feel sexual urges like he does. I expressed that I enjoy the intimacy, but don't need it in the way he does and most likely never will. Always while making sure he understands he doesn't hurt me with having sex and that I am happy to participate to make him happy. This was completely fine by him and he reacted very supportive. Did I express this to him in a fair way? Should I have added something? I can't think of anything else that I would add. I think you communicated with him well and you were open and honest. Even better that he supported it. This is awesome. If you are unsure, then ask him what he understands by the current situation. You're both relatively young and these things can be somewhat fluid in terms of understanding. Ask him to communicate what he understands and go from there. Good luck. Sure, you don't need it. Smile. Even the most lustful women are more creeped out than aroused by dick pics, though. Nope, I love them. Hey, I just wanted to tell you that you're not alone. I was around the same age as you when I started to come to terms with my asexuality, and struggled with saying it aloud initially as well. I even identify similar to you, as I'm fine with sex, I just have no urge to pursue it. Your partner sounds like a keeper, so I would hold on to him if your relationship is good. My then boyfriend was also a rock star supporter despite not being ace, and that really helped me solidify my identity over the years. Now said boyfriend and I are both 30, married, and have a kid, so don't worry about any anti-asexuality rhetoric you may come across, especially in regards to your relationship. Should I talk to my friend about what he said earlier today? This boy, Jay, has been in my class for 3 years now. Jay is really lovely and so kind, and although we are not close, we have never hung out together. I sit next to him in English and he is always a pleasure to work with. Today in English, we had to write about an experience we had with something that was daring, exciting or scary. Some of the examples were seeing a dead body for the first time or large injuries happening. Jay, however, wrote about his depression 3 years ago, and how he was suicidal but recovering. Unfortunately for him, I suppose, he was randomly selected by our teacher to read it out to the whole class. After class he was called behind to speak to the teacher. My question is it appropriate to text him now and tell him that he is really appreciated and kind, and tell him that he is a great friend and really means a lot to me? I feel like he might be kind of embarrassed if I brought it up again, but maybe it could make him feel a bit happier right now. Edit, just to clarify, he is my friend, but definitely more of an inch class 1. I wasn't planning on saying insincere words, only things that felt true to me. But after this I messaged him and said, "Hey Jay, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you as a friend and you're always amazing to work with in class, and if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. Thank you for being the kindest boy in class and never failing to make someone smile. He said thanks for reaching out and that he really appreciates me being there for him. I think it worked out well and I hope he feels happier because of me. And in the future I will make sure to try and gain more of his friendship, which would be really nice. Thank you all for your helpful comments and the award. This is my first post and over 250 upvotes is pretty astonishing. Thanks again for all the advice. Smile. I want to second the top 2 comments. I think reaching out is a great idea for sure, but acting as if you're closer than you really are is not. I would 100% talk to him or text him and say you appreciate his friendship and want to be a better friend and get to know him more. Invite him to hang out while acknowledging you don't know him as well as you would like and you want to change that now. We are not close, we have never hung out together. Tell him that he is really appreciated and kind, and tell him that he is a great friend and really means a lot to me. Providing it's sincere. The last thing someone suffering with depression wants is a pity party. I can't stress this enough. It sounds as though the latter half of your message wants to paint the picture you're close, whereas by your own admission you're not. Be sincere. Maybe it's that you had no idea what he was going through, and you want him to know you're there for him. Maybe it's that you want to spend more time with him and get to know more about him. I definitely thank him for sharing. The hardest thing generally is often telling other people about this struggle, and I guess with him being willing to write about it, that maybe he is out of the worst of it. Whatever it is, be sincere. Knowing you've got someone in your corner can be the difference between making it through something like this or not, but insincere pity parties just make it worse. As someone with depression, I have to agree with you Rasper. I wholeheartedly discourage you to tell him you consider him a close friend when, earlier you admitted you two are not close. He is not stupid. He knows you two aren't close. He will most likely distrust you if you try to say something like that. That said, your heart is clearly in the right place. I can see you mean well. Would you like to be better friends with this person? If so, reach out and start being his friend. He will most likely really appreciate that. Don't throw a pity party for him. Just treat him like the normal human he is and be there for him if he needs you. If you should discover that you don't want to be his friend after all, do not feel like you have to stay in the friendship just because he is depressed. He is not your responsibility, nor can you make him feel better. He can lean on you from time to time, but he is the only person who can truly save himself by working hard and going to therapy. I think you're very sweet and I wish the best of luck to both of you. I hope a great friendship blossoms between the two of you. Absolutely tell him that you think he is nice and kind, and that you appreciate him, but considering you don't really hang out much, saying the other things may sound insincere. Instead, let him know you consider him a friend and that you would like to get to know him better, and or you would like to spend more time with him. He is in a very vulnerable state right now, and having a close friend may be just what he needs. A lot of people suffering from mental illness, especially depression, often need a friend, but please don't try to force a conversation. Just be there. If he chooses to talk about it, be a good listener, but please never tell him there are people who have it worse. Statements like that invalidate his feelings. Reaching out to him with sincerity is a wonderful thing. Thank you for caring enough to want to help. Write about something scary that happened to you. Randomly select someone to read it in front of the class. Seems like a terrible idea, bound to end in some kid reliving trauma in front of a bunch of immature, judgmental kids. I, 18F, left home and my mom, 50F, is severely depressed, refuses to talk to anyone and cries all day. So for some background information, my family was very strict and religious, and it was a very emotionally abusive place for me. My dad had been physically abusive in the past and very verbally abusive. They are a strict Muslim family and I have zero belief in the religion, and my mom would talk about it and make me rehearse certain prayers or just try to tell me religious stories constantly, whenever I would talk to her about anything. All she really talked about was religion. This gave me extreme anxiety as I didn't think I could tell her I wasn't religious for fear of what would happen to me. Along this, there were other factors that made me severely depressed and suicidal while living there. So, a few months ago, I ran away from home. I knew my mom would be the most sad, but I couldn't live there anymore. Although I care for her a lot because she did love us, and constantly try to make sure we were fed and defended us against our dad at times, she has been a part of the abuse. And I told her this. However, my little sister, who I am still in contact with, keeps telling me that my mom refuses to talk to them, only says a word or two, and has extreme eye bags and cries all day. She cries quietly when my dad is home and cries loudly when he isn't, in order to not worry him, according to my sister. My mom has also messaged me saying she is not well, and keeps begging me to come back and give them another chance. They all keep saying they accept me now and didn't know I was feeling those things, and they will accept what I want as long as I come back. Told them several times that I will not, because it's not a good environment for me. Gives me anxiety and makes my depression worse. I just want to heal. I've called her twice since I left in July, because it honestly makes me incredibly anxious calling her, and I don't want to hear her beg me to come back or to keep reconsidering it when I told them I wouldn't unless I needed to myself. I told my sister to tell her she needs to consider therapy, as she really needs it too, but she says therapy won't help her, only me going back will, which I expected. Along with this, my sister is depressed and says she wants her mom back, and she feels like she has nobody to talk to anymore, and the house feels awful and everyone is depressed, and she hates the environment and would rather have the past back. So, my question really is, what do I do? I don't want her to be this severely depressed, but I also can't go back. Edit. Wow, I did not expect this many comments. It's a lot to reply to. Thank you to everyone who commented and the advice. Just a note, I will not be going back. For those who said not to, I made up my mind a long time ago to not go back there. I will definitely try to distance myself and only can try to tell her she needs therapy, but if she refuses help, I understand there's not much I can do. Going to focus on my healing first of all. She can either take therapy or chose to suffer. Do you even have a second thought that if you even consider going back, will you be able to come out of that again? I don't think so. She is losing a child, but she is responsible for it. Give her the option to take therapy and mend your relationship, or be stubborn and lose the relationship forever. Using your sister as a conduit for her emotional blackmail is just another weapon in her abuse arsenal. Do not go back. Do not visit. Stop calling your mother. Tell your sister you want to stay in touch, but she has to stop being a tool for your mother's blackmail. Good luck. Ultimately, your mother is an adult, and responsible for her own mental health. Going to therapy is exactly what she needs, not you. She is viewing you as the solution to her problem, a problem that she is partly responsible for, though she probably doesn't recognize that. But really, you aren't her solution. I'm so sorry you are in this position, but you are not some magic solution to your family's issues. Frankly, it sounds like you all need some therapy.